Welcome, Drink with James, episode 19. I'm gonna start with a fact. I was listening to something the other day and I heard that if you take two rats, right, and those rats mate, and then they have children, little baby rats, and those rats mated and on and so forth and so forth. So you start out with two rats. At the end of the year, how many rats would you have? You're supposed to guess. Okay, 24,000. So if you started in the year with two rats and they all mated as much as they can, and then their children all mated and all that, you would have 24,000 rats at the end of that. To my New Yorkers out there, there's about 3 million rats living in New York City, so that should terrify you. I was sitting here for a minute before thinking, how can I bridge this? Can I make this like transition? I really can't. I just think that fact is disgusting and interesting, so I thought I would share it with you. So we'll move on to the questions. So, we've talked before about like looking at all of your photos and, looking at the photos that have the best engagement and then trying to do more of that. Fohr has a tool that lets you see when your best engagement is. Tim will link it somewhere. But I was thinking like, philosophically, right? Like step back and be like, why would somebody click like on a photo, right? If I follow you and I'm paying attention to my feed, I get value out of your content, whether I hit like or comment or I don't, right? I'm getting the same amount of value. So why would I double tap the photo, right? I would encourage you to think about it yourself. Why do you like people's photos, right? For me, I like people's photos who I have a personal connection with, even if I don't know them, but I feel like I know them, I feel like I'm involved in their life, and I'm rooting for them, and I want to see them do well, and I'm just excited about what they're doing. And so my, liking their photo, for me, it's like a little message to them that says like, keep going, I'm enjoying this, like you're doing a good job, I want to see more of this. It's like a little bit of like a pat on the back almost, right? So if you are creating generic content that doesn't let people know you, doesn't let them get involved in your story or in your journey and feel like they have skin in the game, then like they can just get the same enjoyment out of looking at a pretty photo without liking it. I follow a lot of Instagram photographers who create beautiful work, and I guarantee I've never liked a single one because I don't know who they are. I don't know where they're from. I don't know what they want to do in their life. I don't know what they think about things. I just know that they take really pretty photos of mountains that one day I might want to go to, right? But I have no reason to engage with that because they're not giving me anything personal. So why would I give them something? I'm not going to like your photo just because it's a pretty photo. I want to like it because I like you, because I like what you're doing, and I want you to know that. So I really encourage you to try and be more personal and try and, tell a little more raw and real story about you and your life and your struggles and what you're doing. Because at this point, the curated life, the perfect life and the latte and the fucking flat lay and all that, that's, anyone can do that now. That's not hard to do. It's hard to be an engaging, interesting person who has flaws and struggles and wins and losses, and I think those are the things that really drive engagement because people feel connected to you. Look at what Eva Chen does on her Instagram, right? There's not a single professional photo on that. It's just very much her life, and it feels real, and it feels like as you're following it, you know where she's going, you know what she's doing. A lot of bloggers now are not posting content from their trips until weeks later. And they'll pretend on Instagram like they're in one place when they're in a completely different place. I don't know. I guess I understand that in some ways, but that's not why we have social media. You want to feel connected. You want to feel like you actually know what this person is doing. And if you're not telling that story, then you're taking pretty photos. And I don't think people have a reason to like them. So that was a rant, and it's over. absolutely. So consistency, drink number 2. Consistency, obviously super important. There's 2 kinds of consistency, right? There's consistent style and there's consistent content or like subject matter, right? And I think you can have both, right? You can have a style of photo. Let's say you take very stark, like white photos with a lot of blank space. And let's say that you love to photograph things with stripes. And that can be your entire feed or your entire blog. Or you can kind of have one or the other. You can always take photos of things with stripes, but it doesn't matter what the photos look like. The style isn't consistent. Or you can always take stark photos with a lot of white space. So I don't know if that's a great example, but basically I'm saying consistency of the style of photo or consistency of the content or the subject of that photo. You should probably have one or the other. And the reason that's important is that your feeds, as you all know, a lot of people follow 500, 700, 1,000 people on Instagram, right? And your feed gets really clogged and people want to know what to expect when they come to your feed, right? And if they don't know what to expect, then they don't have a reason to follow you. And when they're scrolling through really quickly, they also don't stop on your photo because they don't know it's your photo without seeing it's your photo. Does that make sense? Like, I was talking to Tim before this about Grant Legan, who's, you know, one of the greats, and it's fantastic. And you know it's a Grant Legan photo before you see that it's from Grant. Or at least you think it is, and it makes you stop on the photo and pause for a second and look at it, right? Because he always got those, you know, here's a link to Grant's thing, by the way. I'm sure you follow him, because like, what the fuck's wrong with you if you don't? But he's always, you know, he's got really like a dark and moody photos, and the greens are always very dark, and the shadows are like super rich and deep. But it just, I can't really describe it. It's just like, it's a Grant Legan photo, right? I think that's really important. I think it's important to brand yourself in that way, so that when I see your photos, even out of context, I could be like, oh, that looks like this person's photo. Try and do that. Try and be consistent in both ways or one way, and I think you'll find that you'll start to grow a little bit faster. Good question. So, aside from social media, how do you drive traffic to your blog? It's not going down easy today. Whew. You know, I think there's a few kind of easy ways to do this. What would be great, right, is if you could get yourself onto someone else's blog or Instagram or YouTube channel or something, right, and get them to talk about you. It's like, I find that, you know, if you're just tagged in a photo with somebody, it doesn't do that much. But if they're like, hey, you should go follow this person, this is my friend, they're doing something amazing, obviously that works really well. That's really hard to get somebody to do. So I think what's like a little hack that you could do that can achieve some of the same things is like maybe you talk about other bloggers on your blog, and then you send those bloggers a link and say, hey, I wrote a little something about you. I said, you know, I talked about 5 people who are an inspiration to me, and I wrote about why. Here's a link, would love for you to share it. And you know, they might share that on their Twitter or Facebook, something like that, and drive traffic. We, you know, just in Fohr, we did a story, a Quitters Club story. If you don't read the Quitters Club, you definitely should. There's a link to all of them right here. We did one once on Claire Marshall from Hey Claire, and she tweeted about it, and I think that was the best day of traffic that the Fohr blog has ever gotten. So, you know, talk about other people, because what do people love to see? They love to see things about themselves. So maybe talk about other bloggers and get them to share it. Keep talking about them, try and build a relationship, then yeah, maybe you can do a project with them. You can, you know, collaborate on something together that you both post to your blogs. You can, you know, I had heard about bloggers before who, you know, will pitch things to brands that involve a number of influencers. So they have 3 or 4 people in a project, maybe creating a video together or doing a shoot together. So everyone kind of has to share it. That's another way to potentially get people to push traffic to your blog. We're having an event here tonight. Actually, my little brother is hosting an event here. He's here from Los Angeles. Dylan Nord, if you don't follow him, he is more handsome than I, and just a single. So follow Dylan Nord. Put like a big like flashing Dylan Nord thing up here. And I am gonna go hang out with my brother. Cheers.